Welcome Scorpio to your monthly reading for January. Amani here, and today we'll be exploring some of the themes coming up for you in January. So some of the challenges, some of the insights, some of the opportunities, difficulties, and questions that are coming up for you. One thing is that this is for everyone who identifies with Scorpio. So even if you don't have a Scorpio sun, moon, ascendant, anything, if it's not even in your birth chart, it doesn't matter. If you identify with Scorpio, then this video is meant for you. Today we're going to be talking about these things that are coming up in the next month, but we'll also be centering one intention in particular, and that's how can we begin to manifest that which we most deeply desire in the coming month. So that's where we're going to start with this, and if you want to go ahead and reflect on that a little bit, I will start shuffling the cards and we can get started. Okay, so for this reading, we'll keep it pretty simple. We're just going to do 3 cards. One card for the beginning of the month, the second card being for the middle of the month, and the last card being for the end of the month. And we'll just take it that way. Okay, so just to get started, the first card we have coming up here is Uranus in Aquarius. And the symbol there is going to be the path. So a lot of people are having this card come up for the beginning of the year. The path is talking a lot about how we want to chart out our path. And this is a very large card. This isn't on a day-to-day basis. It could be, but here it definitely resonates with a sense of larger life purpose. Which way am I heading? Am I walking in a way that feels right for my spirit? Do I feel connected to my sense of purpose on this earth? Really those big questions. So January is definitely a time, with New Year's just having passed, for those kinds of questions to come up. And so the path is really about investigating those questions. And so in the beginning of the month, we'll definitely want to center some of our energies on, even more than usual, center our energies on, am I moving in a way that feels right for me? Am I progressing towards things that really feel good in my spirit? Things that make emotional sense to me? You know, we can think through things logically, but this card really doesn't speak to that. It speaks to a sense of purpose. So the things that really deeply inspire you, that's what we're going to be looking at the beginning of the month. So that's what we open up with. And in the middle of the month, we have Pluto and Pisces, which is sand. Now this combination of cards keeps coming up also because sand is really about that sense of longevity. It's about major cycles, the things that exist even after we pass on, right? Even after we transition out of this lifetime. So it's really, we're talking big scale questions here. And so in the middle of the month, I'm seeing essentially the same question being posed, where we talk about looking at what most matters to us across our whole lifespan. So the things that matter to you, Scorpio, at the deepest level, not things that are on your mind on the day-to-day. Maybe they come up to the surface on the day-to-day, but what we're really talking about is what's below the surface, what really inspires you and helps your life gain meaning. So that's what we're talking about here today. And so I'm really seeing a consistent pattern this month of really centering those questions before anything else. We're not centering questions of relationships unless those relationships feel very purposeful to our life meaning. We're not centering questions of career unless those questions really pertain to what inspires us most deeply. If it doesn't inspire us, if it just makes mental sense, it logically seems like a good option, that's not going to be enough this month. So we really want to center the things that feel most deeply harmonious to us. and really stay at the core of things. And at the end of the month, we have the moon in Cancer. Make sure we can see that. I can't quite see it, I guess. Moon in Cancer is going to be the shell. So some of these questions, this is a very different card. So some of these questions may turn towards, how do I make very literal changes based upon, right? During the beginning of the month, we're talking about how do I piece everything together in the greater sense of my life? How do I gain meaning in that way? And then at the end of the month, it maybe shifts a little bit and it becomes more about what we can tangibly do, what we can tangibly see, especially those things that bring us security. So I'm seeing this both as a sign that at the end of this month, Scorpio, you may be presented with some questions that feel uncomfortable for you, that feel unsafe for you, and maybe there's an inclination to withdraw some into something that's more comfortable for you. At the same time, this really represents the home, so these things are going to definitely hit home for you. The things that pertain to your life purpose will need to be also answered in the sense of at home. So everything at home will need to reflect that as well. And so you may see some changes at the end of the month coming up that really only the essentials can stay, is really what this is implying here. And of course, these are patterns that you can choose to work with or not, right? This is an energetic forecast. This is a forecast of what energies you have available to work with this month. So you can obviously choose to work with them or not work with them. But the current stream of energies is facilitating asking these really big questions about which direction you want to take things. And then pulling them a little bit closer and really pertaining to a sense of, how does this fit into my day-to-day life? So it pulls it right down from this conceptual abstract place and brings it back home to where things need to make more earthly sense, but really I'm saying you adjusting things. Working with this energy, I see a lot of adjusting things to fit to your dreams, to your passions, to the things that your heart is most intent on, and the things that really make you feel alive. So that's what we have for the month. Just to summarize again, we've got Uranus and Aquarius talking about the path, and we're talking about which direction we're heading, right? And in the middle of the month, that turns to Pluto in Pisces, which is sand, and that's going to talk about longevity. So these things really need to last. This question of our path continues to persist. So it persists, and we keep investigating how it all fits together. And then at the end of the month, we have Moon in Cancer. So these things get brought down into something a little more tangible. They need to really make sense to us in a very earthly sense. So definitely at the beginning of the month, take some time, really sit with your practice of feeling what makes the most emotional sense to you. Don't try to explain things to others. They may not understand. With this Uranus that's representing Aquarius here, this is an energy that's very much misunderstood because it's not meant for others to understand. So definitely be willing to sit with that this month, and at the end of the month, the energies will transition for you to be able to make some very tangible adjustments that reflect what you're looking for on a day-to-day basis. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking time to be with me and to sit with yourself also. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I'd be happy to answer and ask more about how I can serve you. So until next time, with love and light, Amani.